Kimberly here. Haven't made a video for a couple of days. Been really busy, but I'm going to do a stimulus check and a stimulus package update today. Chuck Schumer is now the Senate Majority Leader, so that put a little bit more, pull on the Democrat side, and there's probably a good possibility the $1.9 trillion package that Biden has put forth will be passed. There's still going to be some horse trading back and forth a little bit, I believe, but not too much. They're pretty set on this package. But one of the biggest things about this package is the $15 minimum wage. Now, the federal minimum wage passed as an executive order. If you're a federal employee, you're automatically bumped up to $15. But for private sector, the rest of America, the $7.25 minimum wage that we have right now is expected to be raised to $15, and that's got to be pushed through with the package. But there is a lot of opposition to that, unbelievably. There's a lot of people in Congress that own businesses, that are invested in business, and don't believe that, the working class should be bumped up to that much pay, which I think is asinine and just unbelievable. You cannot make it off $7.25 an hour. $15 an hour will maybe get you just to your chin is above water. And it's only going to float you for so far. And people sometimes have this idea that, well, if the minimum wage goes up, prices will go up. They do anyway. Look back it's been $7.25 for, I think, almost 11 years, or about 11 years. 10 plus years, something like that. And the prices today are not the same as they were back then. They will continually go up no matter what the minimum wage is. People who own companies, they want to make more and more and more and more and more profit. The minimum wage doesn't set, the prices. It's the greed of the companies and how much they want to profit. That's the basis of, our economy, is how much they think they can charge people for products. And if they could get away with more, they would. As much as they can try to argue that, it's, prices will always go up. There will always be inflation constantly, and it's because of greed. Paying people a living wage is super important to the economy. The less people in poverty, the more the economy is infused. You can't have a whole underclass of people in poverty who are not buying products, not putting back into the economy. If they're just taking a little bit out of the economy for themselves, barely to live off of, they don't have enough to put back into it. So they have to be more productive, and that means you have to pay them enough to make a living wage. And I think that's going to be implemented probably with an aggregate type of program, sort of like I think the smaller businesses will get like an aggregate type of program to, I think, 25 possibly, to bump it up to $15 an hour, because it would be really hard for a lot of small businesses. I think a lot of small businesses would close down. So, that is the way it should be done, because if you've got like a hamburger stand or a little sandwich shop, and you're paying people, a lot of places, can't get employees to work for $7.25. So there may be some $8.50, $9 an hour employees already. But if it does go up aggregately, then they may have already hit the first level of that aggregation for the minimum wage going up to $15 an hour. That means like every 6 months or every 9 months, or however they want to, whatever aggregation they're going to implement, a lot of these businesses have already got to the first or second step or level. And then they will be prepared a little bit more to go up the next year or next 6 months or something like that. So it's got to be done so that other small businesses can survive, and they have to raise their prices most likely, and it's going to be incrementally so that they don't push away their customers. But other businesses in competition with them, probably a lot of them already have $15 an hour. A lot of states have already implemented their own minimum wage, so this won't be an issue for half the country. It's the small businesses that it's got to be put in place so that they will be able to survive. And they will. They always do. There may be some that I think may struggle with it, and I don't think the $15 minimum wage is going to be the thing that's going to kill you. If it is, then there's something wrong with your business. You're not, if you're just that close to the line, then you've got other problems, not just the $15 or a wage increase. That's, there's other things that you need to look at in your business. And Biden has suggested that he would go for less money for the stimulus checks, which I don't know if that means a lower payout or if there are more stimulus checks coming, would it be a series of smaller payouts? I don't know what that, he didn't elaborate on that. And also Joe Manchin, if anybody remembers, he was complaining about he doesn't think people who make a certain amount of money should get the stimulus checks. Like people who are making $150,000 or $200,000. He was worried about that, which I can kind of agree with that. I don't think somebody who's making $150,000 with no kids is on the same, I want to say, in the same boat as somebody who's making $8 an hour, So I see his point, and I really don't have that much of an issue with that. I actually think that is a better idea, because if you're making $150,000, $200,000 an hour, a year, I don't really think that an extra $1,400 is gonna, save you. You should have already saved enough from $150,000 that you made to float you through. That's I don't have any issue with that. But I think that pushing it too low, you can't exclude the middle class. You really have to make sure that they're in the slot to receive some kind of checks, some kind of help, because their jobs can be on the brink too. It's not just low level or poverty stricken people, not low level people. Low level financial poverty stricken individuals or families. That's pretty, it's a fine line, because when you start having trouble, you're doing well, and then you can have a job change or a loss of a job or health issues or something, or catastrophic things that happen in your personal life that can cause you to, within a few months, end up in the poverty level. It happens all the time. Especially if you're middle class, you've got payments, you've got, a house payment, 2 or 3 car payments, trying to put your kids in college. One catastrophic thing can push you within months into the poorhouse. So as long as the middle class is included in an amount that is, I would like to say under $100,000. I really can't see, that extra $1,400 or getting another, if we start getting smaller checks, $500 a month or whatever, this is just imaginary, just for example. I really don't think that that's going to be extremely beneficial, to somebody who's making $150,000 a year, who still has their job, and, I can understand that point. Now, I think the not Social Security, your eviction moratorium is still going to be in effect for a few more months, and the student loan program, I think that's going to go on until April, if I'm not mistaken. And we're just waiting around right now because with the Trump issue still on the table, that's that is taking up a lot of time, and it's taking up a lot of space that they could be working on the stimulus package. But with the situation that occurred, everything that's happened in the last few weeks, he's been put in a spot where he's going to be impeached, or is going to be put through the process. We don't know how it's going to turn out. Gotta wait and see how everybody votes. And their articles of impeachment have already been sent over. I was under the impression they had been sent over a week or so ago, but apparently they weren't. So we'll just have to wait for that outcome. We don't know if they're going to be working half a day on that, or I believe I was kind of thinking that I'd heard that it was going to be held back for a number of days. I think maybe 10 days or 2 weeks or something like that. So we'll have to wait and see what the outcome of that is going to be. And as far as the stimulus checks, there's no date set, no exact thing that has been said. These are just still, it's kind of still basically in the talking phase right now until they actually start doing the back and forth, until they see who wants to take what out and put this in and put that in and take this out. But it was kind of understood that it's supposed to be pretty much the way the Democrats want it, and they can push through the vote pretty easily with the one extra vote in the Senate now that there's a majority leader Democrat. So it should be fairly easy to get this done, and hopefully not as much arguing like at the end of the year in 2020, what went on then. It's going to be a different play. It's all going to be much more, subdued in the Republican arena. It's going to be, totally different attitude, because they know that it's that one vote that can push it through. And, well, we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully we'll get those checks soon. And thank you very much. Thank you all.